Honestly, like that's the main reason I'm not doing it is like, to be honest, I'm pretty mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. I've been competing for a year straight, and at times that probably can seem pretty easy to most people, but it's really hard and really taxing.
Alright folks, Caitlin is exhausted and really needed this break. And you know what's worse? Many fans are saying that Christy Sides is partly to blame for the rookie's fatigue, especially after the last game where Caitlin played all 40 minutes without resting. But hold on, it gets even more intense. While Clark needs to recharge, a legend of women's basketball is stepping onto the court. Cheryl Miller, my friends. She's leading the All-Star team and some are betting she could be the savior for the Fever. Just imagine, arrested Clark and Miller in command. That's mind-blowing for any fan. If you don't want to miss any detail of this crazy story, you know what to do, right? Hit that subscribe button. Let's dive into this WNBA saga. So folks, let's talk seriously about Caitlin. The girl is killing it on the court, but at what cost? As we saw in her recent interview, she said herself that she's exhausted, and it's no wonder, right? Clark has been playing almost non-stop since she joined the league, and get this, she decided not to participate in the skills and three-point contest during the All-Star. That's a huge sign, people. Clark is a three-point machine, and for her to give that up shows just how much she needs this break. Clark has been carrying the Fever on her back, playing almost every minute of every game. That's not normal. Those of us who followed Clark from the beginning know how dedicated and competitive she is, so when she says she needs a break, we have to take it seriously. She's doing this for herself, and she's absolutely right. Her health comes first. But we can't ignore that this raises some serious questions about how the Fever is being managed. Is the team relying too much on Clark? Is Coach Christy Sides distributing playing time properly? These are questions we need to ask. And speaking of Christy Sides, we need to address this. The situation with the Fever is complicated, and much of it has to do with her decisions as a coach. I know you, like me, have been watching all of Caitlin's games, and you can see something is off. Sides is making some very questionable choices. Playing 40 minutes, that's not sustainable in the long run. No player can keep up that pace for long, and it's not just that. Sides is making substitutions that don't make any sense. Sometimes she takes Clark out at crucial moments or leaves her on the court without support. This is affecting not only Clark's performance, but the whole team's. Look, I know Caitlin is amazing, and we want to see her on the court all the time, but the truth is, Sides is putting too much weight on her shoulders. We're seeing Clark tired, sometimes frustrated, and that's not good for anyone. But what if I told you there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and that light has a name? Cheryl Miller. Yeah, the legend of women's basketball is back on the court, and it's not a small deal. Cheryl was chosen to coach the WNBA All-Star team this year, and you should have seen her in action at the Footprint Center in Phoenix, where she made history. Miller was leading practice like she'd never left the court. And get this, during practice, she asked the players what plays they wanted to run. Imagine Clark in an environment like that, where she can give ideas and be heard. That's the kind of leadership that makes all the difference. Miller isn't there just to pose as a coach. She's genuinely involved, watching every detail, every play, and you know what's even crazier? She only found out she'd be coaching a week before the event. Even so, she was there, putting on a show of leadership and knowledge. Those of us who follow Clark know how much she could benefit from a coach like that. Someone who understands the game, respects the players, and knows how to get the best out of each one without burning them out. And that's not all. Miller is talking a lot about the growth of women's basketball. She's impressed with the facilities and the investment that's happening. Imagine what she could do with a team like the Fever, with all that knowledge and passion for the game. Guys, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to dream here. Could we be seeing the start of a new era for the Indiana Fever? And more importantly, could we be seeing a chance for Caitlin Clark to finally get the support she deserves? Are you thinking the same thing I am? Like, what if Cheryl Miller came to the Fever? It's not just a crazy dream. A lot of people are talking about it. Look, we've already seen that Christy Sides isn't cutting it. Then comes Miller, showing all this knowledge and leadership at the All-Star game. Can we ignore that? The truth is, the Fever needs a change, and it needs it now. Those of us who watch Clark game by game know the potential she has, but we can also see that she needs a system that supports her, that lets her shine without burning out. And Miller, man, she has everything to be that coach. First, she has the respect. Who wouldn't listen to one of the greatest players of all time? Second, she understands the game. We saw how she was analyzing plays at the All-Star, how she was interacting with the players. Moreover, Miller already has coaching experience. She coached at the university level, coached a professional team. She knows what she's doing. And just imagine her working with Clark in Boston. Dude, this could turn the Fever into an elite team. The question is, will the Fever have the courage to make this change? Because folks, it's not just about winning games. It's about taking care of our stars, about building a solid future for the team. And speaking of the future, let's seriously talk about the Fever's future. We've seen that things aren't going well, but the potential, man, it's huge. First, we have Clark and Boston. These two together could be the best duo in the league, easy. But for that to happen, the Fever needs changes and not small ones. The first thing is obvious. They need to resolve this coaching situation. Whether it's with Cheryl Miller or another strong name, the Fever needs someone who understands the modern game and knows how to use the talent they have. Then we need to talk about player rotation. Clark can't play so many minutes every game. It's not sustainable. The new coach will need to find a way to give her rest without compromising the team's performance. The thing is, the Fever has a window of opportunity now. With Clark on the team, they have one of the most talented players in the league, but if they don't take care of her, if they don't build a decent team and structure around her, they risk losing all of that. And look, it's no exaggeration to say the franchise's future is at stake here. If the Fever gets these changes right, we could be seeing the birth of the next WNBA dynasty. But if they continue on this path, then my friends, things could get really bad. Just imagine, we have Caitlin Clark, one of the greatest promises women's basketball has ever seen, playing on a team that doesn't know how to take advantage of her potential. And the worst part, the clock is ticking. Every game that passes with Clark exhausted, every wrong decision by the coaching staff, every missed opportunity to improve the roster, all of this is putting not just this season, but the entire franchise's future at risk. And if Clark decides she's had enough, we know she's loyal, but how long can she keep carrying the team on her shoulders? The decisions made in the coming weeks will determine whether we witness the rise of a new powerhouse in the WNBA or the waste of one of the league's greatest talents. But despite everything seeming complicated for the Fever right now, we still have reasons to be excited. The future can be bright, guys, and you as fans can be a part of this change. So tell me in the comments, what do you think the Fever needs to do now? Who do you want to see as the new coach? How can we help Clark shine even more? Don't forget to like this video if you agree that the Fever needs urgent changes, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue this conversation and follow every step of Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, and the entire WNBA together. And look, it doesn't stop there. We're in a crucial phase of the season. Every game counts. Every decision by the management can change the team's direction. Are you ready for this roller coaster? Because I am. Let's keep an eye on how Clark will recover after this rest period, how the team will adjust, and if those changes we're all hoping for will happen. Let's do this together. See you in the next video, guys.